So into endibana ngxaki nayo mna into yobana ngoku apha kule issue ye-identity xa umfana eshela omnye umfana kuyiwa ngaphi xa intombi ishela omnye intombi kuyiwa ngaphi because apho siya khona siyokwakha umzi so kuzokwakhiwa wakulobani apha lo mzi wakhiwa kanjani. Where is the point of reference yamasiko azawusetyenziswa?
So is that where the chain then gets broken? Because I think Dr. Bishop has landed on the issue within identity.
I find it quite problematic to, well, we believe that as Ubaba Sisiluguti isiko, it's how things have been done and passed on over generations. For me, I'm of the argument, which is, you also alluded to it, that culture is a social construct. It means we collaborate and make what is known and what works for us. And culture for me, it's not homogeneous, but there's this fixation about the paternal side of things. And my issue is, what happens then? Because Bob Khoza speaks of the idealistic African family that is within the construct of a union. Now, Tina esizalwe ngaphandle, who are not kids or children basemshadweni, siyingane zomjolo. Now, we came in. Now, ngiyingane yakwamalume, and my maternal side has the full right and access. My father, who did not do what he had to do in Kaulo and everything else that he had to do, he didn't do it. So, ngibelonga to kumsamo wakulo mama, ngoba ngaba bangikhulisile. And I will always give credit and gratitude to them because I am because of them. So I acknowledge my paternal side, but I can tell you, Rob, that at any given consultation in my life, my paternal side is always silent. And I always say, thank God that they're silent because they were never effective. They didn't do what is right. So I am fairly grounded to believe that. But I went back and I said, no, there's something wrong with this because Umakeba have no full authority over me. Even the gift I possess, is not from Globaba, it's from Ugogo. So for me, I give credit to the maternal side, because those are the people that participated fully, and those are the very same people who still bless me. So my view with regards to Khoza that, one, I'm not from an idealistic family construct. Two, my father was not responsible. So how do I give him credit? How do I become Uzulu when who have done so much? Now, coming to what Doctor is saying about us as to how then do we destabilize the norm? Because what Doc is saying is we are troubling the norm by virtue of introducing an alternative way of doing life. Now, until people understand and treat us as queer people as humans and remove the title of being fixated on our identity around the sex part, because when you say same-sex couples or same-sex individuals, you are reducing us to the bedroom, whereas there's more to the person. I am Anele, who happens to be gay, but at the essence and core of who am I, I'm a human being. Heterosexual people feel they've got authority to tell us what is wrong. In fact, we are seen as people who delineate and who protest against the normative. We can still have a queer family because it's a different social construct. So if it means it's either often wenza surrogacy, ngiyocela umuntu ozangithwalela ingane yami. There are two possibilities about it. Yeah. I can keep it within the family and ask my sister or anyone close to carry the child for me, because it's going to be complicated. And I'm fully aware of that. Whose surname is the child going to take? Right? Because if I take an outsider, there are legal processes, that there's everything else. But now when it comes into and again, legally, I'm taking this child is mine. You don't have authority over it. What about the rites of passages and things that are essential like ukuhlawula? Angithengi sibongo ngihlawula ingane ngoba ngimoshela la ekhaya. But you didn't do the normal way, but ngimoshe ini. So why should I pay inhlawulo? Right?
So the break in the chain in terms of what Ubab Khoza was saying.
We can still continue the chain,
Yeah.
but in a different way. We can still adopt, but the issue about culture now, they will come and impose and say, because this is done this way, it must be kept this way, and that's where I have a problem. So I am of the view that queer identities, because now we've got trans bodies, we've got gay bodies, we've got intersex bodies, but all of these people would want to continue to contribute to the ideas of what family is, but it's in the how that's being done.
Picking up from what Tuanele is saying, the reality is in our practice as psychologists, you will walk in and we will start therapy. As we go along, eventually we'll get to a point where whether she is lesbian and identifies as she, or lesbian and identifies as they, because you also need to respect the pronoun. You need to respect who the person is. When you introduced me, you said Mrs. You respected the pronoun.
Yeah.
When I speak to you, I will say he, because that's what you want to be called. So we respect all of those. So whether it is she or they who walks into my therapy room and says, I want to have a child. Okay, you want to have a child. Let us now look at your options. Do you, first of all, want to carry the child? Or do you want someone else to carry the child? The families, as Ubab Khoza has put it, we are privileged, some of us, to have come from, okay, the family is normal, normative, normal. Yeah, you've come from mom and dad and they are still together and everything is, rosy. Some people are privileged enough to have had that. Other people have had their mother only, and other people have had their father only. When we do izinto zesintu, mawukuthi ngikhulele kwamama, angithi ngiya emsamo kwamama. Manguthi ngikhulele kababa, ngiya emsamo kababa. Depending on which parent left. So why are we making it different for the LGBTQI community?
As again, I've spoken about compulsory heteronormativity. Heterosexual people are careless in their language. There's no sensitivity and empathy, especially people who are traditionalist. And I'm not bashing it about Khoza, but I understand why our people struggle with language capital of understanding. Even they would say LGBT Ndondon, the LGBTIAQ plus community and that.
Right, we've had plenty of social media interaction, and one of the first tweets that have popped by, Mr. Hololo, wanting to know how does culture affect gender identity in general. I think it's pretty straightforward. Dr. Bishop, this one's for you.
The challenge is the mainstream of doing things. Culture can be sacred. We should safeguard that as well. And women are the people who really are entrusted divinely. But in our communities, we really should be recognized. Our word should be recognized. I speak for the women because most of the times it's men who go to the crawl, men. But I loved what Ubayete, His Royal Majesty King Mrs. Zulu Kazweltini, has highlighted the role of Queen Mother in bringing him, in guiding him, not him only, but guiding the nation at large. So now we can strongly say the balance is coming over there. The illicit outflow of our arms and ammunition, which is our cultural and traditional practices.
Mr. Hololo, thank you so much for that question. I think we'll open it up for you as well to discuss on the various hashtags as we hear on Viceroy Vul'umlomo. Conversations on culture. Right, let's keep those conversations going. We would love to hear from all of you utilizing all our social media platforms. So get going, hashtag Vul'umlomo.